In this short video, I wanted to outline the value of carpet agitation, how it's achieved, and cover a range of myths that exist on YouTube about its value. Agitation is a process by which the filter-like network of carpet fibres are moved to help release dirt that can be trapped. The released dirt can then be drawn away in the airflow into the vacuum head. There are two main ways to agitate a carpet. Firstly, by spreading the pile, and secondly, through assistance by vibration. The primary way, which gives the greatest opportunity for dirt to be exposed, ready for extraction by suction, is by pile spreading when the cleaner head and brush bar drag over the surface. This flexes the fibres and opens up gaps that allow particles to be accelerated into the airflow without being as hindered by interlocking fibres which can recapture those particles. This repeated flexing by multiple cleaner head passes helps a lot to release trapped dirt. Another method to assist dislodging trapped particles prior to pile spreading is to vibrate them loose. Impacts from the brush bar bristles can send out vibrations which can shake loose some trapped particles. Particles predominantly vibrate their way upwards because resistive forces are lower near the surface of the pile because the volumetric pile density is lower. Particles are much easier to remove from the surface layers, and so dislodging vibrations can assist and make suction through the pile more effective. There are actually many different types of particles that can be in a carpet, with masses and volumes spanning a huge range. The particles most affected by vibration are the denser, heavier ones, such as sand or salt-like particles, and larger particles like rice. These are harder to accelerate in the airflow because they're heavy and have a smaller projected surface area, and so don't catch the airflow as well. But because they're hard and dense, the impulse from a vibration wave is efficient at knocking them out of place if they're trapped. Vibration does very little to low-density, lighter particles which are more elastic, such as small dust and hairs, and they're more easily removed by good suction once exposed by carpet flexing. Most dirt in a carpet, and particularly the smaller dirt which is more harmful to health, like bacteria, allergens, pollen, mite feces and so on, is not as dense or really well dislodged by vibration of the frequency provided by a brush bar. Vibration is thus limited to being most useful for heavier particles like sand or salt, which are small enough to get deeper into the pile, unlike, say, larger objects like rice, which typically remain on the surface and are more easily removed by straight suction or the brush bar bristles directly. Vacuum heads that utilise their available suction less well, in other words, provide a lower airflow flux density through the pile, will be relatively less effective at removing all types and sizes of dirt from a carpet. This is particularly so for dense particles like sand, and those cleaners may need to rely more on the assistance of vibration for those particle types. Very aggressive vibration should never really be necessary in very well designed cleaner heads with good utilisation of suction through the pile, that are capable of effectively removing even dense particles after the pile is separated. Very aggressive vibration is also a source of unnecessary loud noise, which can make the experience of vacuuming relatively unpleasant. There's also no benefit to vibrating dirt that is outside of the cleaner head region, because only the denser particles brought to the surface directly under the cleaner head will be extracted in the airflow and cleaned away. If particles vibrate far from the cleaner head, then the energy and the associated noise required to achieve that is completely wasted because they still remain in the carpet. They're only actually removed when the head passes over and sucks them away. Particularly aggressive vibration serves no practical benefit really, although it may be visually entertaining to see particles bounce around on the carpet. Ultimately, industry standard testing shows the best cleaning performance across all floor types in some market-leading vacuums that perform to the highest holistic levels can be achieved without excessive levels of vibration. In such cleaners, particle bouncing happens only under the cleaner head where active extraction is taking place, and never outside the head where extraction doesn't happen. It's actually a myth that dramatic visual bouncing of particles outside the cleaner head is a good thing and a measure of a high-performing vacuum. The best vacuums with strong suction through the carpet pile can clean to the highest levels without excessive and overly noisy vibration and visually bouncing large dirt particles far from the cleaner head. It's worth noting that some YouTube video demonstrations exaggerate the beneficial effects of aggressive vibration and can be misleading. There are common problems with these demonstrations, indicating there isn't always a full understanding of the value and purpose of vibration for real-world carpet cleaning scenarios. The main problems are that the videos show a very high concentration of sand being used. The sand is intentionally placed very deep into the pile, or sometimes even under the carpet backing material or on a loose rug. And only sand and no other type of normal fine dust or dirt is considered. In another video, with a link in the description, I've discussed the problems with using exaggerated messes and why this doesn't illustrate how effective a vacuum is for normal real-world messes. Vacuums that perform well with exaggerated messes can be outperformed for normal level messes by cleaners that don't do well with the exaggerated messes. Using a high concentration of dirt is misleading because, firstly, vacuums are tuned to cope with normal level messes, and secondly, it's much harder to achieve good results when concentrations are lower because of the statistical nature of particle removal from carpets. Exaggerated messes are almost never encountered by most people in the home, and it's genuinely wrong to think that if a vacuum can remove lots of dirt from a large mess, it can clean at least as well with a normal, lesser mess, as unintuitive as that might sound. I do cover this fallacy in full detail in the other video. Secondly, placing sand deep into the pile is also unrealistic. Such a high concentration of dirt of that size will unlikely ever be reached at that particular depth in the pile under normal conditions in most homes, because the increasing pile density deeper down limits its build-up. This is again covered in more detail in the other video. Dirt under the backing material implies it's somehow got through the entire pile, and then through the base, which would never practically happen. It's thus completely unrepresentative, and a vacuum's performance under those conditions is just not reflective of normal usage, where dirt is generally within the upper layers of the pile and could be exposed to affect health and trigger allergies. Vacuuming on a loose rug naturally exaggerates aggressive vibration relative to a fixed pinned carpet, and so again is not representative of real-world use. Finally, only using sand can mislead and imply that all types of dust are affected by vibration in the same way, which, as discussed earlier, isn't the case. Vibration affects sand-like particles much more than fine dust and microscopic allergens, and how well the vacuum head utilises the available suction is more important for good cleaning results for most normal dirt. The takeaway message from this video is that aggressive vibration should not be required in good cleaners. Vibration is only beneficial for small dense particles, and finally, to always be skeptical of YouTube demonstrations that aren't conducted to industry standards, no matter how convincing they might be.